What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here, and today we're talking about Destiny. Now, Destiny has always had the problem that it's perceived as very grindy. Now, grindiness in video games is just a fact of life. It isn't necessarily a bad thing. It simply gives us a reason to play the game and play longer. Almost all video games are going to have some degree of grindiness. Think of the new Fallout 4. Why is it harder to find materials like copper and screws than it is other common materials? Well, it's simply to get you to play more. Now, the thing is, if the grind is disguised by actually having fun in the environment as it very well is in Fallout, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Even Black Ops 3 has a certain degree of grind. Why are crypto keys unlocked at the rate that they are? It's to get you to play the game more. Why, when you're unlocking a gold camo, are certain camo unlocks like getting 10 long shots or getting bloodthirsty medals? You can only achieve those camos once you've already gotten 100 headshots. If you were able to do those camos while you were working towards 100 headshots, you'd be able to get gold camo a lot easier. Again, it's purposely done to increase the grind to get you to play more. The problem with Destiny when it released was that there was too much grind and too little reward. The grind wasn't disguised within the game, the grind was the game, and players felt that their time playing the game, a lot of time playing the game, was simply not rewarded by any in-game experiences. Bungie has addressed this and promised us several times that they are going to reduce the grind. They're going to have more reward in-game and less grind to get the reward. Well, in this video, we're going to be examining if that's actually the case, or if Destiny has actually become more grindy since the Taken King came out. Let's look at some of the things that were introduced within the Taken King. Firstly, the weapons part drought. Now, this was actually addressed in a recent update. They kind of fixed this, and you can now buy weapon parts from the gunsmith for Glimmer. But it almost boggles the mind that this was actually done in the first place. Weapon parts are what you use to upgrade weapons and level them out, and for some reason, Bungie actually went and lowered the drop rate for weapons parts. So if you're a player who likes to try out a lot of weapons, you were getting screwed over. You were just constantly losing weapon parts, and it would be very hard to acquire enough weapon parts to upgrade, let's say, a new weapon that you acquired. The thing about weapon parts was that no one was complaining about them. Having an abundance in weapon parts was not negatively impacting the game in any way, and in fact, it really wasn't an abundance in weapon parts. Before they lowered the drop rate, you could easily still run out of weapon parts. The reason it was done, again, it was purely to make people play more. Running out of weapon parts would make you play more strikes or play more Court of Oryx or what have you to acquire more weapons that you can dismantle to get more weapon parts to level up the one gun that you actually want to level up. And again, the community response was so negative, as it should be, that they actually had to address this in a patch. They simply didn't get away with it. But again, it was done purely to increase the grind. Let's go on to another example. When you're trying to get your exotic sword, Bungie has actually put back in one of the worst, most grindy features of the game. Back in vanilla Destiny, the only way to get materials like spin metal was to actually go to the planet and farm the actual materials that are found across the land, as well as chests during patrol mode. Again, they actually reintroduced this for the exotic sword quest in the fact that you actually have to go to these items to like spin metal and actually loot it, and then you not only have to loot it, you have a chance, a very small chance, of actually getting the material you need to get your exotic sword. Again, the only reason this was done was simply to make players play longer. And again, there isn't necessarily anything wrong with that logic. The only problem is that it was seriously unfun when doing this. You're on patrol mode constantly looting helium filaments, for example, for 2 hours. That's just not fun, and that's when the grind becomes extremely prevalent in your mind because you're just having absolutely no fun playing the game. Moving on, the way you actually gain experience within Destiny has actually been all around dramatically reduced when the Taken King released. Think about it, there's no more 5,000 experience bounties. They're replaced with 3,000 experience bounties, so it's harder to level up a weapon or an armor piece when you're just trying to use bounties. In addition, they actually removed the fact that you can get a Nightfall experience bonus after completing the Nightfall. Before, when you did the Nightfall, for the rest of the week, you would get a 20% experience bonus when you got any sort of experience. So that's just experience towards your weapons or faction experience. So that would really help you level up factions faster. Again, they completely removed this, essentially lowering all experience gains by 20% across the board. And guys, I wish that was it, but there's actually so much more. They actually took away the faction rep gain when you completed a Nightfall. Beforehand, when you completed a Nightfall, you would get a massive experience bonus, a massive bonus of faction rep, and that would really help you level up your factions faster. They completely removed this. They also removed the experience bonus you got when you opened a daily public event pack. In addition, Bungie also just overall reduced the amount of faction rep gains you can achieve, and the amount of overall Cryptarch rep you can achieve. And they reduced the amount of faction rep you gain for completing patrol missions. So since the Taken King came out, there has been a dramatic decrease in the amount of experience and reputation you can gain within Destiny. Now, I should mention that in terms of experience gained, they actually did make it so that you can level up your weapons and armor with motes of light. This was generally a good idea, and it has made the grind a little bit lessened. You can just use like 10 motes of light and level up a weapon, whereas before you would have to take a little longer and do some bounties. However, this only works if you actually are playing the game enough to have a substantial amount of motes on hand. As soon as you run out of motes of light, the grind will increase tenfold in order to get enough motes to start doing this again. So it's a benefit, but not as much as you'd think. In fact, considering all the things I went over and how much experience gains have been reduced, the only realistic way to level up weapons now is motes of light. And unfortunately, there was one more massive increase to the Destiny grind that we all simply took sitting down, and that was the introduction of the light levels. Light levels were touted as something that would reduce the grind, that's something that would add a buffer zone so it wasn't simply leveling up one time would create a massive difference, because that's what it was in the original Destiny. If you were fighting enemies one level above you, they would do like 30% more damage to you. So it was absolutely imperative to reach your max level as quickly as possible. Light levels did succeed in creating kind of a buffer zone. You can be a few light levels behind and not be absolutely destroyed by enemies. Unfortunately, what it added was an unparalleled increase to the Destiny grind. Firstly, let's just talk about weapon rewards. Beforehand, before the Taken King, when you got a weapon or an armor piece, like let's say you got the Fatebringer, you just got the Fatebringer. You were awarded it, it came with its certain attack, and it was the best of the best version you could get. Now, when you're doing a raid, you could get, the raid armor piece you need, but yet it won't be the one you need because it doesn't have the right light level. They've essentially added double the RNG to raids, to rewards, to everything essentially, because not only do you have to actually get the reward, but that reward also has to spawn with a good light level. The actual chances for these rewards to spawn with the highest light level is extremely low. When you're doing the normal raid, you're often not going to get loot that spawns with 310 light, and when you're doing the hard raid, you're often not going to get loot that spawns with 320 light. And if you do, it's often a rare occurrence. And what that does is create a whole new problem, and that problem is the way you actually upgrade armor and weapons now into the game. Etheric Light was a stroke of genius. You could upgrade any of your old weapons and armor pieces that you have grinded so long for with a simple reward. You could take one of your favorite shotguns, your favorite pistol, whatever, and ascend it to be competitive with the current meta. That was awesome. Now, the only way you can upgrade weapons and armor is actually to somehow, through RNG, get a better reward than that piece of gear in terms of light level, and then sacrifice that better piece of reward in terms of light level to upgrade your current gear. That is just laughably unrealistic. You may love your hung jury scout rifle. You may absolutely love that thing. There's no way you're gonna sacrifice 320 light weapons in order to get your hung jury to 320 light. It's just not gonna happen for 99% of players. So again, the way you upgrade weapons in the Taken King is laughably unrealistic. Almost no one is walking around with 320 light weapons that they actually want to be 320 light. They simply use the raid weapon with the highest light. Even if they don't like it, that's what they have to use. Because a light level difference of 10 light will equate to around 15% more damage done to you by enemies. Now that is not as extreme as the levels as before, and I will give Bungie credit for that. But 15% damage reduction is huge, and that's going to equate to more survivability and more usefulness than any sort of tiny bonus in the weapon that you actually like. Again, you might like your hung jury. There's no way that upgrading your hung jury is going to be more useful than having like 5, 6, 7% more damage reduction in the raid. So again, no one uses what they want to use. They use their best, highest light gear, and it's really a sad thing, because the light levels also led to the death of customization. The class armor that was previously completely unrelated to your level and was just there to show off what you've accomplished as a Guardian is again now completely replaced by whatever your highest level gear is. It's gonna probably be the hard mode raid cape that you got and not the cape you actually want to use. So with all that being said, I think it's extremely clear that Bungie in fact did artificially increase the grind with the Taken King's release. Why is this a big deal? Why should you care about this? Well, look at your friends list. Who's playing Destiny right now? And who's playing Call of Duty or Fallout 4 or Star Wars Battlefront? Destiny finally has some proper AAA really fun games as competitors, which it never really did before. And so making people grind, making people play a same strike 14 times in a row to get one piece of strike exclusive loot just isn't going to fly anymore. People are just going to play other games. And that is the massive problem we have right now in Destiny. If Destiny wants to survive, if it wants people to keep playing it, it's got to be a little bit more understanding of people's time. Because people don't have 4, 6, 7, 8 hours to spend playing Destiny to achieve anything worth of note. People say I complain too much, but I really just want to see this game succeed. I have stuck with Destiny through the good and the bad, and I really have high hopes for this game. And that's why I'm simply not gonna sit here and watch the Destiny community erode away because Bungie increased the grind way too much. And I think that when you guys go and try to get a raid group of your friends together and realize that no one wants to play anymore because they're saying, hey, what's the point? I get nothing from raids anyways, I think you'll realize, shit, Cacus was right. And that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you agreed with what I said, please remember to rate and share this video. It's up to you to help me get the word out and hopefully fix some of these problems. Now, if you want to see more Destiny content, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you want to get in touch with me, talk to me, or just keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way to do that is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day. We need to make it to round 12.
Hold on. I have to go unplug my SCUF controller, get my control freaks out, get in my DXR gaming chair, and anything else that makes me a better player. I gotta go do that real quick. Oh yes, I need to go get my tub of G Fuel. I have the pineapple flavor. So good. Oh my god.